Good day, grade 12 students. I am Ma'am Pangirigan. I will be your teacher for the 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world. We are in quarter 1, week 1, module 1. The title of this lesson is about Philippine literary history. What are the objectives? Number 1 is to identify Philippine literary history from pre-colonial to contemporary period. And next is to appreciate literary writers and their works through a change analysis. The most essential learning competency for this lesson is to identify the geographic, linguistic, and ethnic dimensions of Philippine literary history from pre-colonial to the contemporary period. Now, I want you to answer the KWL chart. What I know, what I want to know, and what I learned. So you will just answer K and W, and later, after we have discussed the lesson, you can answer letter L or what you have learned from our discussion. I'll give you 5 minutes to answer this KWL chart. Okay, very good. Let's go to our lesson. Now, let us start with a pre-test. In this slide, you can see in the column A, the Philippine period or era. And in column B, you can see the description. So, I want you to match column A to column B. For example, number 1, pre-colonial. Is it letter A? It is a period where Filipino experienced 4 years of hunger, insecurity, and terror. Or letter B, it is a period of this dictatorship. Letter C, it is a period where Philippines is divided by barangay and ruled by Raha or Datu. D, it is a period where Thomasites serve as the first Filipino teachers. Or letter E, it is a period where Christianity flourished. So I'll give you another 5 minutes to answer this pretest. Okay, that was good. Let's go to our lesson. Literature. Literature in its broadest sense is any written work. Etymologically, the term derives from Latin literatura or literatura, which means writing form with letters. Although some definitions include spoken or sung text, more restrictively, it is a writing that possesses literary merit. Literature can be classified according to whether it is fiction or non-fiction, and whether it is poetry or prose. It can be further distinguished according to major forms such as novel, short story, or drama, and works are often categorized according to historical periods or their adherence to certain aesthetic features or expectations. Genre. Now, based on the definition I have stated, you will now create a graphic organizer which features your own understanding of literature and its forms. What is literature? What are the major forms? Okay, very good. Next, Philippine literature is a collection of Filipino experiences expressed in a creative way which has progressed with our historical experience. In this slide, you can see examples such as kung kailan mo pinatay, saka pa humaba ang buhay. Malambot na parang ulap, kasama ko sa pangarap. Dalawang batong itim, malayo ang nararating. Marami akong mata pero hindi nakikita. May corona pero hindi hari o reyna. Hindi ako reyna, hindi ako hari. Kapag ako ay dumaan, kalsada ay naahawi. Yes, very good. That was an example of bugtong during the early days of the Filipino. Bugtong. Next, remember where he came from will never reach his destination. So in Tagalog, ang hindi lumingon sa pinanggalingan ay hindi makakarating sa paroroonan. Next, still waters run deep. Kapag ang dagat ay tahimik, asahan mo at malalim. An empty container makes a lot of noise. Ang lalagyang walang laman ay maingay. Gulong ng palad, minsan nasa ibabaw, minsan nasa ilalim. Iyan ang tunay na buhay. Kumapit ka, ang Diyos na may nakaalalay. So that, four examples of proverbs or sawikain. Next, this horrifying pictures is about mythology. About Nuno sa Punso. In the center picture, you can see the Tiyanak, ang anak ni Danis. And others like Tikbalang, Manananggal, and the Duwende. Popular in the Filipino mythology. That was all about pre-colonial literature. This includes all kinds of literature produced by our native ancestor before any colonization. So before we are colonized, we have our own literature. Next in the period of Philippine literature is in this slide, you can see the examples of the works during this period. During this period, you can see the Pasyong Mahal, Florante at Laura, Ninay, and Noli Metangere. So this is the Philippine literature during Spanish colonization. This includes all kinds of literature produced during the Spanish colonization. Next stage is the work of art during the next period. Example, A Child or Sorrow, Moonlight on Manila Bay by Fernando Maramag, Dead Stars by Paz Marquez Benitez. So these are the Philippine literature during the American colonization. Next, this work of literature, Lupang Tinubuan by Narciso G. Reyes, Canal de Reina, Arceo's work, Nestor Vicente Gonzalez, and Macario Pineda, which is popular in Suyuan sa Tubigan, are the Philippine literary writers during the Japanese colonization from 1941 to 1945. Next, ang Mangingisda ni Ponciano B. Peralta, Pineda, and Aniceto Silvestre. You can see also the work of Bienvenido A. Ramos. These are the famous literary writers during the 20th century period. Or this includes all kind of literary works produced during the martial law. In this slide, you can see ang Panday, Ikatlong Yugto. So that was FPJ, Fernando Po Jr. You can see here, Bakit Baliktad? Magpasa ng libro ang mga Pilipino, Hilda Olvidado. Example of 21st century literature that was produced in the 21st century. So now, let's do this. You create images or symbols to represent or describe the 6 literary periods in the Philippines. Who may answer? Okay. Very good. That was a nice analysis about the description of the 6 literary periods. So now, I want you to analyze the strengths and weaknesses of the said period, like the pre-colonial, the Spanish period, American period, Japanese period, 20th century, and the 21st century period. Next, give the dominant changes that Philippine literature experienced over the years. So I want you to identify the dominant changes in the different literary period. For the change analysis, I want you to write the characteristics, the changes, and the analysis in different periods. So in general, we can see here the different characteristics of literary period. There is a sense of nationalism, oppression, there is an heroic deeds, nature, supernatural, morality, religion, poverty, injustice, activism, social issues, longing for independence, social justice, and consciousness. So, with these different characteristics, you will identify what period is this related. So, for example, heroic deeds about nature or supernatural, this is during the pre-colonial period. Now, you may try the other characteristics. You may try answering and referring to the period that is being identified by these characteristics. Good luck! So thank you very much. I hope you have understand our lesson. Now I want you to complete the KWL chart. Earlier you write what you know, what you want to know, and now I want you to write what have you learned from this lesson. Thank you very much. See you on lesson 2. Stay safe and God bless everyone.